Welcome back to Winning Law. I'm attorney David Nguyen with offices in Houston, Texas. Today I'm going to talk about the top 5 myths concerning employment authorization documents, otherwise known by the acronym EAD. Before we get started, let me briefly explain what an EAD card is. An EAD card is simply a document that allows a foreign national to obtain work authorization in the United States temporarily. These are usually good for 2 years at a time. Most of the time, if you're trying to obtain a driver's license or a social security card, the government will want to see proof that you have valid immigration status. An unexpired EAD card is just one way to do this. Myth number 1, the EAD application will only take 90 days to process. Before 2016, USCIS regulations indicated that USCIS was required to issue an EAD card within 90 days. If it wasn't able to issue it within this period, a person could visit their local USCIS field office, and that office was required to issue an interim document to allow the foreign national to work while the actual EAD is produced. Unfortunately, USCIS is no longer issuing interim EADs, nor are they required to issue EADs within the 90-day period. This change was made on November 18, 2016. Nowadays, most EAD applications will take several months to process. Myth number 2. If I file my green card application, USCIS will automatically give me an EAD card. I cannot even count how many people visit my office and tell me that they applied for a green card, but they do not understand why they haven't received their temporary work authorization document. Usually I will ask them to show me a copy of their green card petition, and after a second or two of just looking at it, I quickly discover and find out that they never even applied for an EAD card in the first place. The problem is actually very understandable. USCIS does not have a complete list of documents that a foreign national needs to file when they're submitting their green card petition. This is likely why so many people apply for a green card, which can take over a year to process, and never receive any type of temporary work authorization in the meantime. Myth number 3. The EAD card will allow me to travel internationally. Let's just quickly think about this for a quick second. EAD stands for Employment Authorization Document. Nowhere in this name does it say anything about travel. Usually, if you travel domestically within the United States, you do not need an international travel permit. However, if you do plan on traveling overseas at any time, you will need to apply for a separate travel authorization in order to return to the United States. If you travel without advance parole or travel authorization, most likely you will be refused re-entry. Myth number 4. I can work with an expired EAD card without any issues. This is actually the worst thing that anyone can ever tell you. If you are applying for a green card, you're applying because you are an immediate relative of a US citizen, you may be able to get away with working even though you're currently working with an expired EAD card. However, there are so many situations where if you are working with an expired EAD card, it would be very costly for your immigration future. Let me give you 2 good examples. Let's say, for example, you are an F1 international student and you just completed your bachelor's degree. You qualify for OPT and an EAD card. You begin working on that EAD card, and later on, because you're on STEM, you qualify for an extension of the EAD. Now, if you continue working, even though your EAD card has expired, if you later want to apply for an H-1B work visa, or you want to go back to being a full-time student, you will likely be ineligible to do so because you violated your non-immigrant status as an F1 student by working without permission on that expired EAD. Another good example is related to spouses or minor children of green card holders. If you're applying for a green card or adjustment of status and you work in the US without permission or on an expired EAD card, most likely your green card petition itself will be denied since you violated your non-immigrant status. As you can see, depending on your situation, working with an expired EAD card can be very detrimental to your case. Hopefully you can see why we always encourage anyone going through the immigration process to work with an experienced immigration attorney such as our office. Just because something works for someone else like your friend or your neighbor, your coworker, doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to work for you. And the fifth myth, which is also the last myth, is if you have a pending I-45 application and an I-765 application, and the I-765 application is approved, it automatically means that your green card is going to be approved. Unfortunately, this is not the case. Immigration is notorious for approving EAD cards for pending I-45 applications and then denying the I-45 application. So I think I mentioned this in a prior video where I discussed where a person came in because the I-130 petition that his stepfather filed for him was denied and his green card application was denied. He asked me, what can he do in order to get work authorization again? Unfortunately, I had to explain to him that since his mother married his stepfather after he turned 18 years old, his father was not eligible to file an I-130 petition for him. Even though USCIS approved his I-765 application and gave him an EAD card, they were correct in denying the I-45 application. The simple truth is that if a person has a pending I-45 application, most likely USCIS will use a rubber stamp and approve the I-765 application, even without checking whether or not the I-45 application is approvable. So these are the top 5 myths about employment authorization documents. I hope you found this video helpful and you learned things that you didn't know before. Again, I'm attorney David Nguyen. This is Winning Law, and we hope that we have made immigration easier to understand.
At David Nguyen's Law Office, we are here to help you. We bring families together through immigration. And on the other hand, we help you find solutions. All your legal needs in the hands of people who care, who are there for you. We'll take care of your loved ones at the law office of David